Broncos expected to sign him, 3-year deal worth $35 million.
Oh, it feels good to be back in the free agency mix. Nay, it feels great. It's refreshing to see praise, unanimous praise for the players the Denver Broncos signed in free agency. We don't need a quarterback. We didn't change head coaches. And we enhanced the strength of our football team by adding 2 of the best possible players in safety Talanoa Hufanga and linebacker Dre Greenlaw in free agency. George Paton added a clause to Dre Greenlaw's contract stipulating that Dre Greenlaw must promise to never run onto the field from the sideline. He's only allowed to walk or use an electric scooter to enter the field of play. That's exactly why we kept old Georgie around after the Russ debacle. Now, my favorite quote on the Broncos is from Robert Mays, who wrote, "The Broncos added more fuck you energy through the spine of the defense." What did Jake the Snake have to say about Dre? No, not Jake Plummer, just some random 49ers fan. "You'll never hear a bad word from me about Dre Greenlaw. Dude was a bad motherfucker for the 49ers. Treat him well, Denver." That's the best indication of a good signing, right? When the fans of the departing player tell you to treat them well. Today, Brandon Perna, God's unsignable free agent, we'll break down the Broncos' key signings and departures in free agency, touch on whom they might sign next. And are the Broncos entering contender territory? Hey, we crossed 715,000 subs. Thank you guys so much. The new goal, 725,000 subscribers by the time we hit the NFL draft. Now, before I hit on the Broncos' big additions, we need to go through some of the key losses on the roster. Sadly, we're no longer going to boast the sexiest quarterback room in the league. Hot guy and Utah's most prolific fuckboy, Zach Wilson, is going to Miami. The writing was on the wall when Jarrett Stidham re-signed. Zach Wilson's illustrious tenure with the Broncos came to an end. Now, he recorded exactly 0 stats in the regular season in 2024, but he looked pretty damn good in the preseason, especially that third game. I think Wilson's year with the Broncos is ultimately going to be beneficial to him. He got out of the Jet circus, got to learn from God bless Bo Nix, and went through quarterback rehab with Sean Payton. He parlayed all of that into a 1-year deal with the Dolphins, a place where, let's just say, the quarterback isn't necessarily the perfect picture of health. So, if he wanted a place where he would have a chance to possibly start to get an opportunity, Miami could certainly be it. Jarrett Stidham said this is the best quarterback room he's ever been a part of, so as a fan of the Broncos, I welcome our next rehab project. And I promise to react more appropriately than I did when we signed Zach Wilson.
Yo, Broncos country, let's ride, baby.
Well, as a Broncos fan, I'm officially ready for my pounding.
A lot could change in a year, huh, everybody? Oh, God, what is wrong with me? Running back Javonte Williams signed with the Dallas Cowboys on a 1-year deal worth $3 million. Good for Javonte, and I'm very happy for him. He's a solid running back that can catch the ball and pass protect, but unfortunately, he just hasn't been the same guy as we watched during his rookie season after he shredded his knee back in 2022. God, that was a shitty year for everyone involved, wasn't it? I hope for Javonte's sake he can regain some of his former juice, but as a Broncos fan, I'm not going to lose any sleep over this move because Denver is going to add to the backfield either in the second wave of free agency or early in the draft, potentially both. Denver also lost linebacker Cody Barton, who joined the Titans on a 3-year deal worth $21 million. Barton was a godsend last year after Alex Singleton went down with his torn ACL, playing in all 17 games, picking off 2 passes, and combining for 106 tackles. He also won AFC Defensive Player of the Week in that Thursday night win over the Saints, and it never felt like there was a drop-off after he became the starter in Week 4. So, good for Cody. The Titans got a nice piece on their defense. And then, punter Riley Dixon left for Tampa Bay. Dixon was 10th among punters in net average and 15th in percentage of punts that landed inside the 20-yard line. He's a good punter, but not among the best. Another way to say that is very average, and now Denver has to find an equal or better replacement. That said, I always appreciate this fake punt Riley completed in the playoffs, even if it didn't mean anything. Now, nobody really gives a fuck about the punter, but with our defense, finding a punter who can consistently pin opposing offenses deep or flip the field on the road would be a big asset. May I suggest local legend Ryan Stonehouse? They say people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Well, punters who live in stone houses, they'll bust your fucking face open with those rocks. Yeah, but let's talk about the Broncos defense, because it got better. Last season, the Broncos finished third in points allowed per game at just 18.3. That was sandwiched between the Chargers, who were number 1, and the Chiefs. Denver was third in rushing yards allowed per game, which was best in the AFC West. 7th in total yards allowed per game. They led the league in sacks with 63. The defense overall destroyed bad teams, kept the Broncos in games against good teams, but did have some issues against some of the best offenses. Regardless, the defense was a strength that allowed the offense time to develop, and George and Sean Payton made it significantly better with 2 moves. The chances of the Broncos defense being top 3 in every key metric is real. Starting with Talanoa Hufanga, the Broncos found themselves a demon at safety, signing the former 49er to a 3-year deal worth $45 million. Now, Hufanga has missed 17 games over the last 2 seasons due to injury, but in his last fully healthy season, back in 2022, he picked off 4 passes, had 2 sacks, and was named a first-team All-Pro. In 2023, he played in 10 games and had 3 interceptions, 52 tackles before tearing his ACL. I think Hufanga gives the Broncos defense an edge and sense of aggressiveness that they didn't really have. The Denver D had a lot going for them last year, but I'm not sure they had a true thumper at the second level. Hufanga is a thumper. Hufanga plays a lot like his mentor, Troy Polamalu, in that he's aggressive, instinctual, and has a really good knack for being around the ball. Plus, he has the hair. Don't forget the luscious, beautiful, flowing locks of hair. If it weren't for the injury history, he would have made a shit ton more money this offseason. A 3-year, $45 million deal with 20 guaranteed is a steal if he stays on the field. Safety Javon Holland got a 3-year deal with the Giants, but has $10 million more guaranteed. Trayvon Moreg was handed a $51 million deal over 3 years, and Cam Bynum got 4 years at $60 million for the Colts. It's a very good deal for the Broncos. If Denver bet right, and he stays on the field, they just got a legitimate all-pro safety on the open market. And we saw the lack of safety depth hurt the Broncos when they played the top-tier AFC teams like the Ravens and the Bills. But this knocks PJ Locke into a more of a rotational role, while Hufanga and Brandon Jones become the 2 starting safeties. I like PJ, but he could get exposed in coverage at times, and this is going to end up being a massive upgrade on the back end. The exact same thing you guys are going to be saying about me one day when I finally can afford my butt implants. Underdog. Butt implants. No, that's not an official deal. Today's episode is sponsored by my friends over at Underdog. Use my code THATSGOOD if you're going to sign up and play daily fantasy, or if you want to play in pick'em games where you guess player stat totals to try and multiply your money. And since I still got this mustache on my face, we did it. We've crossed 5,500 signups at Underdog, which is amazing. So if you're gonna sign up, please do it now, or if you've already used my code, make your first play on Underdog. And if we hit those 7,500 signups by the NFL draft, I've promised to do 100 miles on my bike in a mummer's outfit and go to Philadelphia in a Cooper DeJean jersey and recreate the Rocky montage since those Shit-ass Chiefs couldn't three-peat. Denver's in-house move started all the way back on Sunday when they re-signed defensive tackle DJ Jones, backup quarterback Stids, and long snapper Mitchell Fraboni, and backup offensive lineman Matt Pert. For Stidham, I like the continuity at backup QB because Peyton's system is tough to grasp, and this will be year 3 for Stids in Denver. With Fraboni, I've never once even thought about him during a game, and that's exactly what you're looking for out of a long snapper. And with Pert, the more competent offensive lineman you can stack on your roster, the better. DJ Jones re-signed on a 3-year deal worth $39 million.
Oh, I suck. I should have scooped and scored it. I'm terrible.
Jones was rock solid in the interior for the Broncos last year, forcing 3 fumbles with 5 tackles for a loss while splitting time with Malcolm Roach and John Franklin Myers.
They put me at DN, I'll play DN. Linebacker, I'll go to linebacker. I love for you to put me at safety, coaches.
The Eagles taught us in the Super Bowl that you could never have too many good defensive linemen, especially when you want to embarrass the Chiefs. And the Broncos are holding true to that by returning Jones. He also gets to team up with 2 fellow former 49ers in Hufanga and linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw's full name is Keandre Jaquan Dre Greenlaw. Simply put, Dre Greenlaw is a dog. Unfortunately, he was so geeked up in Super Bowl 58 that he tore his Achilles running onto the field, which, in hindsight, might have been the difference in a game that went deep into overtime. If you remember, Dre was locking down Travis Kelce, who had just 1 catch for 1 yard in the Super Bowl through the first half. After Greenlaw tore his Achilles, Kelce hauled in 8 receptions for 92 yards. Imagine how little Kelce will do against Greenlaw in a Broncos uniform now that Kelce's officially washed. That Achilles injury almost completely erased his 2024 season, but he did make a couple of appearances very late in the regular season, combining for 9 tackles in extremely limited time, which Greg Rosenthal got a little excited about.
I love this move. Greenlaw, first of all, he put only 3 quarters on film last year. They were 3 of the most electric quarters I've seen from a linebacker in a long time.
That might be hyperbolic, but I like it. Ultimately, we're talking about a really good linebacker who probably got overshadowed in the national spotlight because he was playing next to the best linebacker in the game, a guy by the name of Fred Warner, who I'm sure will be a Bronco soon.
He's a physical dude, and every time he wants to tackle you, he's trying to hurt you.
The health and durability is a concern because Greenlaw also missed some time in 2021 stemming from a groin surgery. So why would the Broncos take a chance on 2 49ers players who both have some serious injury concerns? Well, the 2 reasons. 1, they're that damn good when they're on the field. They bring a level of physicality the Broncos defense was missing behind the defensive line. They needed some enforcers, and they got 2 dogs. Dre Greenlaw is also very good in coverage as a linebacker, something Denver has not had since Danny fucking Trevathan and Brandon fucking Marshall, really. Even when Alex Singleton is healthy and on the field, that's not really his strength either. The other part of this is the Broncos have been a much healthier team since Sean Payton arrived. When he got here in 2023, he hired Bo Lowry, who transformed Denver from one of the most perennially injured teams to one of the healthiest teams in the league. That's not an accident. Now, bad injury luck can happen to any team at any time, but having a smart person in charge of health and performance who integrates optimal strength training and health recovery can keep players on the field. It can mitigate injuries on the field, and it can ensure players recover in the best possible manner. There's no guaranteeing Dre or Hufanga stays healthy, but they have one of the best chances to do so in Denver. The only other redhead to be this good in the state of Colorado? Probably Shaun White every winter X Games in Aspen. That's right, Bo Lowry is the Shaun White of player health. If both of those guys remain healthy, we're talking about the 3rd best scoring defense in the NFL a year ago getting a huge upgrade. Not to mention the kind of teammates that do not hesitate to defend their own. They are enforcers. I expect the Broncos to make a couple more moves in the second wave of free agency. Hopefully they sign Evan Ingram or trade for Dallas Goedert to give them a true pass-catching tight end. In terms of running backs and guys available, you've got Cam Akers, Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins, hell, even Raheem Mostert could be a running back option. Mostert might be the oldest running back by a lot, but he still might be the fastest available. Cam Akers flashed a couple times last season with the Vikings, and he's only 25. None of those guys are the answer, but they would be a solid addition until we know what the Broncos can do in the draft. Until then, let's just be happy we have the best defense, not just in the NFL, but maybe ever. Ever! Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please, again, you gotta subscribe here on YouTube. And don't forget to sign up with my code That's Good at Underdog. Again, every single sign up right now through the draft is extremely important, so I appreciate the support.